Hey there, have you ever gotten a wild revelation from the most random things? Are you looking for God but can't seem to really find Him? Have you ever wondered if God is really there? Well, here on God in the Details, join me as we embark on a journey to find God in the most unlikely, absurd and random things, from Kaswa to Oyarifa and even FIFA. So buckle up, put on your thinking cap, and let's find God in the detail.
Welcome to a new season of the God in the Details podcast. Yes, we are back. We've not stopped. We are back. We are back with more deeds. And it's a new season, new energy, new deeds, new ideas. This season promises to be better, promises to be bigger, promises to be more detailed. So stick and stay with us. It's going to be an amazing season. Also because this season, I'm not doing it alone. Yes, I can talk. If you leave me, I'll talk. But in this season, I'm doing it with amazing guests. So there'll be guests coming on this season. Every episode, or most of the episodes, would have someone, an expert in a field, come talk to us about how they find God in that. And trust me, we have so many interesting things lined up for you this season. So stick and stay with us because God in the Details season 2, now you guys are not ready. If you haven't listened to season 1, pause, go and listen and come back. Because season 1 was amazing and season 2 is just getting better and better and better and better. So the purpose of this episode is, first of all, to say thank you. Media, if you leave me, I'll use thank you to wound you. So first of all, to say thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for deciding to use your time to listen to me rant about things like this. So clap for yourselves, clap for yourselves, clap for yourselves. Thank you so much. And thank you for sticking and staying with us. Thank you for imagining what you want to hear on this podcast, right? And this episode is basically giving you an overview of what to expect in season 2. So I'm not going to talk much this one. Wait for the next episode. That's where the real tea is. There's some tea in this one, but the real tea is in the next few episodes. So this season we'll have an episode on branding, an episode on being a talkative, an episode on gymming, an episode on missions, an episode on so many things, and an episode on even AI. Can you imagine? So it's going to be an amazing season. If your friends and family are not listening to the God in the Details podcast yet, then there's a problem. So fix that problem, fix it. But in the spirit of it being a new season, I just want us to focus on old seasons. So to the focus of this episode, you know how we do here. If you already haven't been a follower of the God in the Details podcasts, God in the Details, we start with a story time and then we start with a Bible verse, just so that you know that we are not just picking things from all around. Yes, it's random, it's absurd, it's unexpected, but we link it to the word, link it to the word. So, story time, and then you understand where I'm going with this episode. Okay. When I was young, they kept asking us that, who do you admire in the Bible? Who do you admire in the Bible? And so many people would mention David. Someone wanted to be the two-no person in the class and said Jesus. I respect them, but I don't know. Take your time. Jesus, David, someone said Esther. Someone said, everybody had the kind of person they wanted to be in the Bible. And, well, the little two-no in me, didn't want to also mention David because everybody was mentioning David. So I decided to dig deeper into the Bible and I realized that the person I relate with the most is Joshua. So from that time, whenever someone asks me who do I relate with in the Bible, the first person I mention is Joshua because Joshua had a legacy to live up to. And Joshua was someone who God needed to use words of affirmation to wound him. A lot of, with small time, be strong and courageous, everything will be fine. One human being, they told you, yes. And I'm that kind of person. That's why every time I'll be telling people that you've done well. So when I do well, tell me. Tell me. But Joshua. So Joshua is the person that I relate with in the Bible, really. And For today's deeds, or for the deeds of the day, we are going to do something, I'm sure you saw it on the title, called a holy time travel. Holy time travel. Yes. We're going back in time in the Bible and just want to relate it to modern times and see how it is. So, first of all, I've already told you that I relate to Joshua. As you are listening to this, just ask yourself who you relate to. It can be the viral and the normal, oh, David, oh, Jesus, but I'm challenging you to dig deeper into the Bible, to dig deeper and see who you relate with. It could be one of the judges. It could be one of the people in the New Testament. You can even go as far as reading more of the history of the early church and relating to someone. I think someone gave me a nice answer. That was Timothy. I said, oh, that's nice. So that's homework for you. The detail is, yes, the name will stick. The name will stick. This is into I'll use it to stick. So moving to so that's the main detail of the day. We can still relate things from the old in the Bible to things in the new. And that's the journey we're about to go on. So, first thing, imagine this. You are building a brand. You are building a building. You are building a building. You're building a brand. You're building a business. You're building your social media presence. You're building your, so you keep posting and you are doing it for the glory of God, right? We've all been there. You are doing it for the glory of God. God, please give me money so I can give you glory. Those prayers, we've all prayed some before. Me cry, I still pray the prayer, right? But then you realize that the main motive behind it is for clouds and it's not for the covenant of the Lord. Does it sound familiar? If this sounds familiar, I just want to put it to you that you are not different from Genesis chapter 11 verse 4. And that goes into the story of the Tower of Babel. They were building a tower to glorify God when you read it. But then inmates, or one of their inside ideas, was so that they can glorify themselves. I'm saying this to someone who is listening to this and you are building something, deep down, you put up this facade to everybody else. Yes, I'm coming for you. You put up this facade to everybody else that, oh, it's for God, it's for God, it's for God. But deep down, it's not. Deep down, it's just for your clouds. I am coming to tell you that God confuses the plans of people like that. So you have a team and you are building with the team. And this is hitting home because I will open some keys. I was part of a team. We were doing something for God, right? We're doing something for God, but along the line, the vision kind of got skewed. And even we didn't realize how all of a sudden we started dissipating. We started separating. And I'm now realizing that is the effect of that's the Tower of Babel effect. God has a way of dissipating people that decide to use his name for glory, but it's for clouds, right? So this is to someone who maybe you are in something and you feel like you are not seeking God's face. It's easy to go back to him because his arms are always open wide. It's easy to go back to God. So if you are listening to this and you feel like you are in a Tower of Babel phase, run back to him. So, first beat. There are more Tower of Babels in this time than there were in Genesis. So that's the first deed of the day. There are more Tower of Babels in this time than there were in Genesis. So don't build a Tower of Babel, right? Don't build a Tower of Babel, but build an altar. We see that the other thing that was built in those times, apart from the Tower of Babel, were altars. And altars were built as a remembrance of what God had done and not as a glorifying of what you can do.
Deep revelation. Wow.
Deep. That's deep, guys. That's deep. So when you're building something for God, let it be a remembrance of what God has done and not what you can do. Okay? So that's the first deed. Remember your why, because God is able to dissipate with different languages. You can be in a team now, then Yeah, it's a jory. Se prope no pay and pay. And so like all of a sudden you don't understand each other again, but you started with the same language, with the same mindsets, but God has broken it apart. So that's the first deed. The second deed, imagine that you're at a job, you are in a relationship, you're actually having a good time, not the best time, a good time. You know, there are some of us that the jobs we are having a good time because there's Wi-Fi. Fair. I respect that. Some of us, you are in a relationship because if you say you want this, they'll buy it for you. Sure, that's yours too. You're having a good time, but then deep down, you know you are being abused. Whether it's at the job, you know that your mental health is on the line. I'm not here to say that if God has told you to stay somewhere in your mental health, don't rush and come and say that's what I said. Listen to God. But let me finish. And then you are in the relationship, but then you know you can be better. You know that you are being abused. You know you are being emotionally abused. You are being even physically abused, but you are getting all the things you want. So you feel like, let me just stay here. So occasionally you cry to God, but then you're also okay. Occasionally you cry, but you're also okay. Can I submit to you that you are like Exodus chapter 14 and the whole of Exodus actually? You are like the children of Israel stuck in Egypt. You are stuck in Egypt. Egypt is not only restricted to a geographical place, but sometimes it can be a mental space. It can be an emotional space. You are stuck in Egypt, and God is calling you out. God has called the Moses. The Moses can be a word from God. The Moses can be the Bible. The Moses can be a worship session. Your Moses can be anything. Your Moses can be anything. Your Moses can be that one friend that still believes in you. Your Moses can be that one friend that is actually pushing you to be a better version of yourself. Do not be an Israelite and push your Moses away, because this is me jumping the gun, but it is painful for me that Moses, that when you read the Bible, God almost took him to the promised land alone. Told him that I'll clear the Israelites and take you. He said, no, please take care of them. Like, otherwise the Egyptians will say you just brought them here to kill them. So let's go. Because of how angry he got and he disobeyed God, because of these Israelites, he didn't get into the promised land. That is like the friend trying to advise people who are in love. They said don't advise people in love. You will become like that. You'll be in love and you'll be suffering. You'll be suffering. That's off topic. I'm saying that God is calling you to better. You are in an Egypt. I'm telling you, you are in an Egypt. God is calling you to step into better. God is calling you to be free. And the journey to freedom is hard. The journey to freedom is hard, but then the difficulty in the journey to freedom gives birth to miracles. For example, imagine the Israelites never met the Red Sea and it was parted. We would never have that recorded in the Bible as one of their most amazing miracles we've ever seen. The journey to the promises of the Lord is hard, but then it gives birth to miracles. So believe. Better believe. Better believe. Right? Believe. So this is just me telling someone that if you feel and you know deep down the Holy Spirit has a way of convicting people, you are listening to this and you feel like I'm in an Egypt. It can be a relationship, it can be a business, it can be a decision you made, it can be a decision you are still staying in, it can be anything. You are in an Egypt. I am saying that God is calling you out into freedom because He has freedom in mind for us. He's never going to want you to stay in slavery. Okay? So that's the second deed. The Israelites in Egypt, we still have modern day Egypt. Emotionally, physically, spiritually, we are still held back. And the reason why I'm saying this is that the Israelites, when they were there and when they went into the wilderness, they said that you should have let us die in Egypt. So we're eating meat and things, even though we were suffering. And that's what some of you are saying, that God should have just let me stay in whatever pain I was in, at least. As long as I was suffering, I was still okay. But God has better for you. God has planned better for you. I'm saying this to someone who's lost hope. you decided to jump and obey the Lord, and it doesn't look like God is coming through, God has better for you. Okay? God has better for you. So walk away from your Egypts and walk into your promised land. Walk, but obey God. Don't be like, don't be hard. Yeah, man, obey God. Now, on that tangent goes to our third deed of the day. Imagine this. In this social media generation, you see a picture, you hear some news, you see a video, you see of your past. That's your throwback. Shall I see? What is my birthday? Sometimes I'm scared. Hey, you are relating with me. Some people, they hold your life in their hands with your throwback. If they get your throwback, Facebook. So your throwback, a video, a memory of, or sometimes it can even be a song that reminds you of where you used to be. And it brings you down. Like, you might have gone very far in your healing journey, you might have gone very far, but then you remember that thing, or you see that thing on social media, and you are just brought down again. Can I submit to you that you are like a Moses? You're like a Moses because Moses had a whole past, ran away from his past, went into the burning bush. God calls him through the burning bush that go do this. And that's difficult because God is calling him to confront his past. Before you can confront your past, you must have made peace with your past. Something happened in the Oasis, shout out to the Oasis Collective. Something happened in the Oasis group recently. They posted one of my first spoken words. Yeah, it wasn't a very nice time. I was really shy, I won't lie. It was a crazy video, but gone are the days when I would have seen that video and I was like, no one should show it to anybody. I had made peace with this enough to say, yeah, like, there's this thing, Nanaya, Mama 1000 keeps saying that he wants to keep those there so people see where he started from. You get to a point in healing, you get to a point in maturity where your past is no more a weapon, but your past is it propels you to greatness. Your past is no more something that breaks you down, but it's something that shoots you up. And that's how it's supposed to be. Because the God I know uses the past to craft the present and improve the future. So if you are here and you have a very murky past, you've been trying to run away from it, you've been trying to cover it, you are giving the devil a weapon. Yeah, you are giving the devil a weapon because he knows that no matter how far you go, all he needs to do is spring up some video, spring up a picture, spring up something. And that's what he tried to do to Moses. But then Moses had overcome his past through the wilderness he was in, even before the burning bush. God might take you to a wilderness experience where you have to build yourself before the burning bush, before the encounter. And you see that encounter and you still doubt yourself. Moses doubted himself 3 times on that encounter. Some of you are here, you've been to church and you've had the encounter, but then you are still doubting yourself. You're still doubting yourself. You're still doubting yourself. It's fine. God is merciful enough to receive all the questions you have about your doubt and answer them. He will answer it. But that's the third deed. Sometimes the burning bush, you don't need to see a bush burning. You just need to see a proper algorithm. You don't need to see a bush burning, you just need to see a proper algorithm. That's why I am such an advocate for creatives, Christian creatives posting as much. You never know if the content you are posting is someone's burning bush. You never know if the content you are posting is someone's soul moment. You never know if the content you are posting is someone's turning points. Right? And to the next deeds, which is also connected. You see, we are connecting it. The next deeds, imagine that you're working on a project, you're working on a podcast. Hey, Jesus. See, people, one day when we blow, we'll tell you the things we've been through. When we blow, brain is behind the camera. When we blow, we'll tell you the things we've been through. When we blow, we'll tell you the things we've been through. So one day, you're working on a podcast. You're working on music. you're working on a business. Hey, business. I just want to give a special shout out to all the business owners. You people they try. You people really they try, but you're starting a business, you're starting a podcast, you're starting a ministry, you're starting music, you're starting something that God told you to start. But then people are laughing at you. Like, and your parents are not behind you, your friends are not behind you. You get scammed time and time again. You get discouraged, you schedule things and it doesn't happen. You plan proper, you have a whole document and all, and then everything just goes upside down. There have been so many stories of people with businesses and then everything just bends. Like, but then God is still providing. You see the provision of the Lord whenever it comes to that thing. There are some of you, you know that when it comes to a specific thing, God always provides. Like, if it's about music and you have to go somewhere for a gig, God has a way of giving you transport to that place. But if you wanted to go and see someone, you will never get a money. Right? But you don't stop. You still keep building. You still keep going. You still keep going. Can I submit to you that you are in Genesis chapter 6 verse 14? You are in Noah. God told Noah to build an ark. When you read and when you understand the timeline, it wasn't a day, it wasn't 2 days, it wasn't 3 days. It was years that Noah used to build that ark. People definitely called him mad. Me, if I was in that time, I would have called him mad. Because you can't tell me that we are in Oyarefa, then you go and take wood from places and come and build ark. That's God said you should build ark. It doesn't make sense. I would have called him mad. You watching this would have done same. People would have snapped him. People would have put him on IG that there's a certain madman building an ark. Now, all that madness people were saying was all washed away literally. See what I did? Was all washed away when it started raining. It's difficult when you've heard from God, but then those around you haven't heard from God. And it's even more difficult because God does not talk to you in the midst of, He doesn't talk to you about personal projects in the midst of people. The Bible says that close your door, go into secret. That's when God speaks to you. So if you are watching this and God has impressed on your heart to start something, that is your Noah ark. That is your Noah's ark. That is your Noah's ark. And also big shout out to Justin Adomako. We had a conversation at work, which is also good in the detail because we're talking about God at work. You know that it's not like we're in work, we had break, right? But we had this conversation that most of the projects you work on are Noah's arks. Don't stop building as long as you've heard from God. So now that goes to you knowing how to hear from God, and if you have really heard from God. Because there are so many times in the Bible that they ask that, did you really hear from God? The first question that led to sin was, did God really say? That just proves that hearing from God is essential. It's so essential for our well-being and our existence, hearing from God, right? So that's your Noah's ark. Your photography is Noah's ark. My spoken word ministry is Noah's ark. The world shall pay close attention to the words about to be spoken. The world shall open up their minds and let attention be their only token. What you have in your hand is Noah's ark. So don't stop building. Don't stop building. Don't stop building. Keep going. Keep going. The rain will start. And when the rain starts, people will see that indeed this is Noah's ark. So that's the fourth deed. And now that leads me to our last and final deed, save the best for last. When you keep building as a creative, you need to understand that God works in times and seasons. And in the times of Abraham, Noah, Isaac, these were patriarchs. These were people that are known to be wealthy. These were people that were known to be, farmers, very rich. And those are the type of people that God used. in every season, God has a type of people he uses. We look at the book of Judges and he used warriors. We see Gideon, we see Deborah, we see Samson. Those were the type of people. We look through the book of Samuel and we see that God used prophets. We look even down to the book of the major and minor prophets and we saw that he used prophets. We look through the book of Matthew, Mark, inside the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and God was using craftsmen. He was using carpenters, fishermen. These are the people that Jesus, with he himself being a carpenter, chose fishermen, and they were propagating the gospel. We go down into history, into the 19th century, the 18th century, the 16th century, and God was using politicians. We have Martin Luther King. We have people that God was using to propagate the gospel. Now, in the 21st century, God is using creatives. Yes, God is hiring creatives. So this is going to be a whole episode on its own, but I just want you to know that in this season, the people that God is using, God is calling out to our creatives, photographers, spoken word artists, graphic designers, singers, actors, actresses, and it's beautiful because God, it doesn't mean that if you are not creative, God isn't calling you. It just means that there's a place for you because creativity is the first attribute of God. He's a creator. So that creativity is inside of you. The creativity in those times was interpreted into farming, was interpreted into being a politician, into being a warrior, because the art of war was a creative art. The thing is right, but we don't do that now. You can't. If I come right now, I'm sitting on the God in the Details pod, I'm holding two swords. I said, "Welcome to the God in the Details." People cancel me, right? But you see the creatives, you see the voice, you see the rhymes, and it's nice for you. Exactly. So, before we end this episode, I just want to remind you about what we're speaking about. This has been a quick introduction to how the season is going to go, and then just a quick telling you of the fact that this is a new season and how the new seasons in your life should be, not neglecting the old season. So go back and listen to the old season. But number one is that the Tower of Babel has translated into you people creating things for clouds. So watch it. Number two is that we still have modern day Egypts. We have relationships, we have businesses, we have jobs that are modern day Egypts, and God is calling you out. Number three is that we have Moseses, that your past, as long as you don't confront your past, you have given the devil a weapon. Confront the past and be receptive to burning bushes. That can be the word on your algorithm. The next is that project you're working on is your Noah's Ark. Keep building. When it starts raining, they'll be washed away. The critics will be washed away. And when you blow, you can't tell you that you heard it on the God in the Details podcast that I should keep building. And then I'll take some of the fans. Give God the glory. I will take the fans. Right? And the fact that we are in a time where God is calling out creatives as the people he's calling out to show forth his glory, like he did with the warriors, like he did with the patriarchs, like he did with the craftsmen, that's the carpenters and the fishermen. He's doing that for creatives. Okay, so thank you so much for listening to the God in the Details podcast. This is going to be a very, very, very amazing season. I have enjoyed this episode. I hope you've also enjoyed this episode, and stick and stay because it's going to be amazing. Thank you, detailers. I will catch you on the next episode. Thank you.
So, I'd just like to remind you that no matter the situation you find yourself in, it can be anything, even the most unlikely thing. I just want to remind you that if you look carefully enough, you will see God in the details. Thank you.